lot of the back-end stuff, writing a lot of code, then transitioned into product. At product, what we do, we ideate on ideas and then just try to bring them to life. Work closely with the tech team to just bring these ideas to life. So today I'm going to talk about bill payments. Bills are part of life. Every day we do pay a bill. I'm sure for your moment, from wherever you came to here, you either took a matatu, you used an Uber, you drove to this place. All those, if you drive to this place, you bought fuel, that's a bill. If you boarded an Uber, that's a bill. Bus fare, that's also a bill. So bills are part of us. We live with them. We're just going to have a look at two products that will help us in terms of seeing how we're trying to make bill payments easy. Because today we know the digital transformation that has taken place over the years has really transformed the way in which we make our bill payments. The way we used to do it before, it was just primarily cash. But today, most of us make our payments through mobile money in one way or another. So what I'm going to present is just better ways. How do we make bill payments simpler? Because we have a lot to do in our day-to-day life. So just see how we make payments of these bills easier, so that we can be able to proceed with our daily activities. Thank you. Hello? Okay, thanks. So I'm not sure if this is visible, but just there are three key problems I'm going to look at, the kind of problems we're trying to solve with the two products that I'll show you. So the first kind of a challenge we're trying to solve is the risk of cash handling. Today, a lot of businesses, looking at even the retail sector in supermarkets, when you go to malls in supermarkets, once a while, you'll see some cash in transit guys come once a while to just collect the cash that has been collected in the various tills and then move on to move the cash maybe to the bank. And then, of course, there's a big problem in the Kenyan market where we have circulation of fake currencies. So when you go digital, we eliminate the possibilities of you maybe having to collect fake currencies that are in circulation. And then the third one is just looking at the fragmentation that exists today in the market. Different people want to make payments in different ways. So at the end of the day, me as the guy who was employed there by my boss to run this business, I have to go through several reports to just see how to close the sales. Know out of the sales that were made today, this amount went into which purpose. And then the second categorization of problems that we're trying to solve is just the barriers to adoption of digital solutions. So today, of course, yeah, we have mobile money that is well deep rooted in the Kenyan ecosystem. But for you to be able to pay, most of us, especially the salaried, your money is always in the bank. You find yourself in most of the instances where you're required to pay, you need to move that money from wherever it sits at the bank and then move it to your mobile money so that it's available for you to either pay at the pay point on the supermarket or either pay the delivery guy who brought your Glovo or either pay for your Uber ride back home. So that still fragmentation. And then the other thing under the barriers to adoption of technology is just the reconciliation around it. Once in a while, you've gone to pay at a store, maybe in town. You paid via an option that was provided for by the merchant. For one reason or another, the payment does not reflect or does not hit the merchant's account. So you're forced to be held up there and then just wait for the merchant to be able to confirm that this payment has happened. And then the last categorization of what we're trying to solve is opportunities that have come up as a result of the digital, as a result of happenings around us. Of course, COVID came, and with COVID, there was a lot of adoption of digital payments. So we went into this space and just tried to see what more can we do to enable and empower people to be able to just pay digitally without the risk of, without the need to handle manual cash. Just the next, okay. So, with the two products that I'm going to give a walkthrough, just trying to look at the value that we give both to the business owner and also to the customer. So the first one is 1 point to access all digital payments. So the way we look at payments at Cellulant, we usually look at payments in 3 broad categories. The first one is mobile money payments, which is deep and rooted in our country today. So we know every day, every time, you need to have something on your mobile money to be able to make payment in the event that you need to make payments for your daily running. The next categorization is mobile banking. This is a part that remains largely untapped in Kenya, because today we're used to, if I want to pay for maybe something, I need to move the money first from the bank to the mobile money wallet, be it M-Pesa, be it Airtel, so that I can make payment for whatever I need to make payment for. And then the third categorization is just card payments. Card payments is taking place in Kenya, but we're trying to see how we can push up the adoption by just availing all these options for the customers to be able to make payment when they need to make the payment. So the second value is to the merchant. We just give you one place where you see payments coming in from all these different places. So with the access that we give you, we'll show you, you'll see payments coming in from mobile money, payments coming in from bank channels. You'll also get to see payments coming in from card. So a customer will just need to decide how are they paying you, and then for us we process the payment and let you know that a customer has paid you via this mode of payment, and then now at the end of the day we just go ahead and remit the money that we've collected on your behalf to a designated account for your own use. And then that talks to the third point, single settlement from multiple payment methods. So we just aggregate all that has been collected using all those different ways of payments and settle or pay or remit the funds that we've collected on your behalf as a business to your designated account. And then, of course, in payments, you'll always have disputes. You'll always have to do a way to do reconciliation, just to make sure that whoever was supposed to pay you has already paid you. And in the event there is any, maybe a customer called Jen paid me so that I can give him a service called airtime. Then there was an issue in the process of me giving that customer that service. I need to be able to refund that customer their money back so that they can use it for other purposes. So that comes with the dispute resolution tools as a way of either processing refunds and reversals. And then the last value that we give is key. We have inbuilt fraud detection capabilities that just are on spot, and we're able to detect any fraudulent activities that happen and stop them on the go. So looking at the two products that I'll be talking about. So the first one is called proximity payments, and the second one is called pay by link. There was a bit of a highlight on pay by link by my colleague Justin earlier on, but I'll go a bit deeper into just try and skin it out so that we can have a deeper understanding of how it works. So briefly, proximity payments is a product that we came up with to allow you as a merchant, you as a person who runs a business, to be able to pay by customers who visit your store. So customers can come to your store, select whatever they want, and then there are various ways in which they can initiate payment to you through the various payment options that we talked about. So that one will go deep way a bit later on. So the other product is Pay by Link. It's a product that allows mostly entrepreneurs who are selling online to be able to digitally collect funds from customers who wish to pay them. So this one we've seen primarily it sorts the needs of merchants who don't necessarily have a website, but they need a way to be paid. So what happens is the customer, you'll just give the customer the link, and then the customer will be able to give a couple of information, and then be able to pay you through the respective payment methods that will be available. And then the other need that is served by the link is the billing aspect of it, the invoicing aspect of it, and this invoicing is big. Today when you request for a ride, and then at the end of a trip you get sort of an invoice on your Uber or Bolt app that gives you a breakdown of this is your base rate, whatever. At the end of it is a total. When you make an order maybe online, there's some items, you go to Jumia, you select you want to buy some items. At the end of it all, there's a summary, that's an invoice. Looking at people in the distribution industry, people doing manufacturing, wholesalers, retailers, all these, when they make an order, there's an invoice that is usually presented to them at the end of the day for them to make payments. So we are trying to make it easy for a business to just send a digital invoice in form of a message, an email, a WhatsApp conversation to the payee, the guy who is supposed to pay, so that once the guy receives, just taps on a link, presented with an array of payment options, and then they're able to make payment to you. You as the business gets notified that a payment has been received, and then you go ahead to dispatch either the good or the service that you're supposed to give to this particular customer. There's a bit of a delay. So the first product I'll look at is Pay by Link, which I've already given an overview. It's just a product that allows you to collect via link. So this is just a snapshot of what you get during the onboarding process as you access our platform. So we are trying to really push what we call self-serve, where you as a merchant, if you need to collect today, we just give you a link, you go to the link, provide some basic KYC information about you, your business, and then with the touch of a button, you're able to start accepting payments. And then there's some details that will come later on, which you will need to give us before we now scale your collection. But within 1, 2, 3 minutes, you're able to start collecting. So under Pay by Link, of course, the first thing that we usually give you as a business is just to identify yourself, claim your brand. So you come here, you just give us a domain, and then we're able to map it onto your business so that when you start sending out requests for payment to customers, it will go out with your brand. And then the other aspect of it is just some businesses might want to separate different payments. Looking at a classical example of a school might have different payments. Maybe there's a payment for tuition fee, there's a payment for transport, there's a trip upcoming for kids, they need to go somewhere. They might need to see all those payments in different, and to track all those payments differently. So we're giving them capabilities to define what we call services. Services are a way of you as a merchant wanting to separate your payments. You might be having probably a stall, one in the CBD, another one in Westlands. You want to track the payments separately. You could give them the different names. And then the process of you getting paid starts from, there are many ways for you to request, to initiate the process of a customer making payment to you. Alternatively, the customer can also initiate a payment to you as a business. So we'll start from you as a merchant. You want a customer to pay you. This is possible via our interface. We provided a place where you provide some basic information such as what's the mobile number of the person who's paying you, what are they paying you for, what is the amount, is there any referencing or account mapping that you want to do against the payment that is being made. And of course, an invoice, most invoices have a due date to which, against which it's supposed to be paid. So once all this information is provided, what we do is we send out an SMS, could be an email, could be a WhatsApp, to the designated number, just telling them, hey, Fred Properties has requested you to pay Kenya shillings 15,000 for rent, which is due on the 5th of December 2021. And then we tell you, you can click on this to pay or dial, there's a USSD aspect of it, which I'll explain in the next upcoming slides, or dial this USSD string and you'll get your invoice there, go ahead and make payment unto it. So once the merchant fills all these details, it's possible to either fill this form. You can also upload a bulk file that has thousands of invoices which you want to be paid. Classic use case is a school in the middle of the term. They want to claim balances from parents who have not cleared fees for their children. They can just come and upload a file here, and then we convert that to a text invoice, and then when the parent receives an SMS with a link, they just click on it, get presented with a bill summary of their fee, and then they just select their desired payment option and pay. That the procedure for the customer making payments we'll see on the other upcoming slides. So over and above this, this is the manual way of requesting for payments. We also provide capabilities for system-to-system integration stroke connection, where you as a merchant running your own this is just a view, not so clear, but it's a view showing the different breakdown, summary of payments that are received from different payment sources and from different payment options and for different services, which is, of course, there are a couple of filters you can apply, and you can also download the report for your own use. So when it comes to the customer, this is the kind of SMS that a customer would receive. Hey, Steve, you have a payment request of this amount of money from MultiChoice from DSTV, for DSTV Compact Plus service. So click on this link to pay, or there's a USSD part that has been eliminated, because we also enable customers to pay via either a web link or a USSD. This is mostly for customers who have feature phones. So when a customer receives such an SMS, we just proceeds to click on the link. And then once they click on the link, there's a web page that pops up with the bill details. Yeah, that's the web page that pops up with the bill details. So on the first page, it's ideally a summary of what you're supposed to pay. So not so clear, but it has the amount, the name that is referenced on that payment, when is it due, and also the account name. So when it's a scrollable page, if you scroll down a bit, you see a pay button. And then on the next screen, we present a variety of payment options that you can select from. So depending on whether you want to pay from your mobile money, the bank options, they're scrollable, they're on the other side. I'll just explain a bit on how that works. You just click pay and then proceed to pay. So once the payment bit is done, In the event, in this part, I used an example of mobile money payment where a customer receives either a USSD push or an SDK push to just go ahead and authorize their transaction. And then once they authorize, of course, we issue digital receipts, and we also do SMS receipting for the customers once they make their payment. No, it's not going to the next. Yeah. So that's that. And then this is now the procedure for a customer making payment over a link via USSD. So this is the kind of USSD string the customer would receive and be prompted to dial. So over and above the clickable link, the customer will receive a USSD string like this, *369 *1234 *1000 hash. So just to explain the architecture, the first part of the USSD string is the main USSD shortcode, which could belong to us, could belong to you as a merchant. If you have your own USSD code, we can work with it. The second part of it is the unique bill for that specific client. And then the third part of it, no, the second part is the merchant identifier. The third part is the amount which the customer wants to pay. So once the customer dials the entire string, they're able to be presented with the payment options that are available on USSD, which ideally are mobile money. And then, of course, the customer proceeds to enter their PIN and authorize. So for USSD, of course, we'll do a receipt. We'll do a receipt on SMS because the customer paid via SMS. Ideally, that's it for pay by link. Pay by link ideally is just a product that can be used by you as a business to be able to collect from social payments. If you have products you're advertising on WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, all these social platforms, TikTok, you can append a link onto it with these cool features that come with these platforms where people can just swipe up. And then they'll be presented with a page for you to be able to initiate payments to you. So what this means, even if you don't literally have a website where you're usually given these plugins for collecting payments from many other collection companies. Even if you don't have a website for that, this covers you well. And also now when you go to the invoicing bit of it, it covers well people like in sectors such as the distribution sectors that I discussed about. We also cover well guys in the property management sector, where you don't necessarily need to have a platform for you to manage your rent collections. All you need to do is just to come to a platform, say I want to be paid by Fred 5th of every month, and then the system will do the rest for you. We'll be telling Fred that, hey, you'll be supposed to pay your landlord rent / service fee on this date, click here to pay. And then once Fred makes that payment, of course, we alert and tell the landlord that this payment has been made to you. Same case as schools, same case in the microfinance sector, where if you're an MFI, you're in the business of taking deposits, you're in the business of giving out loans, and you want these people to repay you, this is the way to go. So the next product I'm going to have a look at is what we call proximity payments. Both are collection products, but proximity payments work in sort of a different way. So for proximity payments is for customers to come to your store, get whatever they're getting, and then they're able to pay you. They're able to pay you via various means such as USSD, such as QR codes, and you as a merchant can also initiate a payment request to the customer's device. So just to explain a bit on how the setup under proximity pay works, the way we set it up is to accommodate any kind of business that has this flow. So the classical example that I can give with this is a supermarket, and I'll also use an example of a normal store that is based somewhere out there in Tomboya. Looking at supermarkets, we'll set them up as one business, and then one supermarket can have many stores. Even one business can have multiple stores, one in Nairobi, one in Nakuru, another in Mombasa, another in Kisumu. But going back to the concept of supermarkets, one can have many stores even within the same area. And then we give you capabilities to define what we call, who we call a store manager. A store manager is in charge of counters. We call them as counters that is under the store. So going back to the concept of supermarket, you can have a store in Wayakiwe, and then within that store, there are various pay points. So counters are ideally pay points. Pay points where customers will come and pay for services they have consumed from your business. So each counter is issued with a unique identifier. We call it a counter code. And then this is what the customers will identify with when they are making payment. Just one thing to note, at the head office level, there's the admin who can see everything that is happening below them. And then at the store level, we have a store manager who can see anything that is happening within the store. At the counter level, we have the cashier. Cashier can only see collections under their specific counter. So, and then another thing with the cashier is able to get real-time notifications on payments via SMS, of course. SMS is the first channel. And then, of course, there's an app which both the cashier and the store manager, also the admin, can use to access and just get payment notifications once payments are made. We also have a web interface that enables either of the users defined here, just to be able to see who has made payment. Those are primarily the various ways of these guys just knowing when payments are made. And then there's something I pointed out about merchant-initiated payment. So this guy at the counter here, does not necessarily need to tell the customer you need to do this and that to pay. So if a customer has their desired mode of payment, there is something we call merchant-initiated payment, where the cashier will just request for a couple of details from you, and then send, if it's an authorization request, to your phone, and then you're able to authorize the transaction. So that's a classical setup of a store of a business that has multiple stores. If fine, you're a business, you only have one store, you want to operate with only one store, we also accommodate for that. You just need to create your business, which is the head office, and then within your business you define, this business of mine is located in probably Kenyatta Avenue, and then you just say, under this business I only have one point of payment. So a business can have as many as 20 to countless points of payment. It can have 1, 5, 10, as much as you as the business owner want to define it. Also, a business can have as many stores as you would want to define it. So as I explained earlier, we're just trying to make it possible for you as a business to onboard by yourself without necessarily us having to onboard you. So this just shows some of the details that we ask about a business for us to enable you to start collecting using our proximity pay solution. And then this is the basic business details. And then once you provide the basic details, this is sort of the dashboard where you land on something. I think Justin showed us something like this. And then once you land on your dashboard, I want to show you the place where now we get to the proximity pay part of it, where you as a manager, you're able to see all stores that are under you, and then you can go to a specific store, you see the different collections that have been done under it, and then you can see the different codes that are that are assigned to the different counters. Skips. Yeah, so this is the different counter view, the different collections that have been done. Don't worry about the currency. This is Zambian kwacha. We first launched the product in Zambia. That is why most of the things are in Zambia, but it's already available for consumption in Kenya. Yeah, and then now this is the business app, where from you as as the cashier or the store manager or the admin, you don't need to necessarily walk around with your laptop to just be able to see payments coming in. You can just install our app, set up, then you will be able to just access the payments that are being made via the app. Yeah, so this is, it looks a bit not clear, but this is the journey for a customer making payment to your store via USSD. So of course, something similar to what we saw under Pay by Link, the customer dials a USSD string, which this code is usually issued by the way during the onboarding process. Each and every counter will get its own unique code, and this one you can access it from the system. And then what we usually do, we usually send it even on mail so that the merchant can print it out. Some merchants, we activate them by also printing it out for them. So the customer, once they come to your store, buy whatever they want to buy, they would ideally be presented with a sticker that shows them pay via Ting, dial *265 *1234. Now here is the representative of the merchant code, and then this is the amount they want to pay. Just a shortcut. Also, alternatively, the customer can also dial without the amount *369 *1234 hash, and then of course they'll be told welcome to Fred's stores. Enter amount to pay. In the event they didn't enter an amount, in the event there's an amount, they'll be presented with you are about to make payment to Fred's store. Continue, just click confirm, and then in the next screen we present you the various payment options that we have on our platform which you can use to pay against that store. You proceed to authorize by entering your respective PIN, and then you as a customer get an acknowledgement SMS, and then the merchant also gets their own acknowledgement SMS notification, also an app notification to just notify them that a customer has made payment to them. These payments are also visible on our platform, the platform which the merchants use to onboard. Another way for the customer to pay, we also issue QR codes. So this is for the customers who just want to pay via the Ting app. So the customer, either the app or web, the customer can go to their Ting app and scan on that QR code which we issue you as the business on the specific counter. So what this QR code does, it uniquely identifies the specific pay point from where the customer wants to pay from. So the customer will either scan this from their camera, it will open a web page, or if they scan it from within the app, they'll just be presented with the payment options. The code already identifies which merchant are you going to pay, which pay point is this. You just need to enter an amount, and then as the customer, and then I think once the customer pays, yeah, that's it from the proximity pay part of it. We really had some limited time to go through it, but in a nutshell, proximity pay is a payment product that can be used to make payments for stores. It can also be used for deliveries. Maybe you sent a rider to make delivery, to do a delivery for you. They could go with a code or a QR. And then once they make the delivery, the customer scans or dials the string and makes payment to you as the customer, to you as the merchant. And then we are also able to deliver the SMS notifications. You're also able to get the in-app notifications once payments have been made. In a nutshell, those are the two solutions we have in the bill payments sector. At this point, I'm not sure. I would like to invite if there's any question, clarification. Yeah, we can open it up for the Q&A section. There's a question there. Mike, please.
Um, Thank you, Mbumba, for your presentation. My name is Dennis from Cooperative Bank. A quick one. Does the merchant get to define the payment options available, or this comes with the product? Number one, and number two, how can if I would have liked to be part of the options presented, how can I get to do that? Then number three, do you have a means of sensitizing a merchant on, it could be a requirement by law, on flagging suspicious transactions for reporting? Thank you.
Thanks for that. On the first question, by default, the merchant gets access to all payment options that we have on our platform. And then they have flexibility to define which they want activated to their customer. So that talks to the first question. And then the second one, in terms of how we can work with Coop Bank just to have them as a payment option, it's a conversation we are open to. We can have a discussion just immediately after this as to see how to bring that to life. And then in the third part of fraud detection, internally within the platform, we've already implemented fraud detection tools. We've worked with partners who provide us fraud detection capabilities. So what usually happens, once we flag a merchant or a customer as a potential fraud, we potentially halt collections for that specific merchant until we do investigations, and then once all is clear, we can either reopen or permanently close. We've had scenarios where in other products we've had to terminate business with some merchants who are doing not really fraudulent transactions, but transactions in categories which we don't facilitate in, things like gambling and explicit content. Another question? Looks like we are good. Well, few questions means either we understood clearly what was there, or I lost everyone. I could have lost everyone along the way. But feel free to get in touch with us. We're still around for the better part of the day. If anyone wants more clarity on how the two different products works and how you could get onboarded onto them, we're still around. You can just get in touch with us. We primarily be seated on this desk. I think, thank you everyone for your time. Let's looking forward to do business and oh, there's a question.
Sorry, you're talking of Ting, and I was wondering, it's an app that makes payments. Will you be introducing ads, which can be very destructive at some point? You're trying to make a payment and popping up ads. Are you intending to do that? Because we don't want to see ads.
Well, the good thing about us, we listen to our customers, so feedback taken. But Ting is primarily for payments. We want you to be comfortable when making your payments to whoever you're making your payments to. So I don't think we have any plans of doing ads on the app in the near future. We'll just leave it as beautiful and as good looking as it is for you to make your payments and be when making your payments with it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I think let me endorse, because we use it in our organization. And previously we had some challenges with our customers when they were making payments on the website. So all our self-serve customers would use one of the default payment gateways, and we had feedback that was coming in, mostly from disgruntled customers. And there were just issues around how long it takes, whether they get a confirmation of payment message, etc., and how long it also took us to get back to the customer whenever they had payment issues. So we onboarded Ting, and by faith made it the default payment gateway on our website. And right now we have 0 disgruntled customers based on payment, and we have 70% of our payments on the website being used on Ting as the payment gateway. So an endorsement for you guys.
Thank you very much for that. Actually, what she's talking about, the payment gateway product, we didn't get to really talk about it. It's one of our products been there in the market for quite a while, and we enable businesses that are online to primarily collect from their customers using the various payment options that we have. So when you go to a site like, I can give an example that Faith earlier used, JumboJet or KQ, making your booking. At the end of that booking process, there is an array of payment options, different ways in which you can pay for your flight. So that is a typical example of how or what Ting powers merchants like our ambassador there, our newest ambassador signing, to be able to collect online from their customers. And we really try to push as much as possible the conversions high, so that we don't have disgruntled customers, and you're able to give services to your customers within the shortest time possible. Thank you for that again. Any other question? Could be a compliment again. So thank you once again. We're still available. In case you feel like you need a one-to-one conversation, you can approach us at the desk here. We'll be ready and willing to answer your questions as the day goes by. Thank you very much.